March something. These are our final quantities for the season on the EcoFlow that we have. It's our Delta 2 power station. It comes with a Powerstrip and a solar panel. And our price for our final couple hundred for the season is about $1,000 off our regular price. I'm not even kidding. This is so exciting to me. I'm very passionate about EcoFlow. It is the #1 best-selling brand when it comes to portable power stations. Some of you might know them as generators. But generators, as we, I think, all know, require, first of all, a ton of space to be able to house them and store them in a garage. And then the gas and the oil and all the stuff that I don't feel comfortable with, the charging or the yank or the however you want to start those other generators that smell, and they're kind of dangerous in a lot of ways. There's nothing dangerous or inconvenient about having an EcoFlow. This is the power station that we are offering. This is the Delta 2. Now, I know there's a lot of different iterations over the years. Years ago, I launched this brand here at HSN, and I remember back in the day, it was the River that we had, which was a great power station, but it was much smaller and not nearly as powerful as the one we have here today. This is an 1,800 watt output on the AC, so you can power more than 90% of your home appliances, 90%, and that means powering them up simultaneously. So what we are doing today, this is a bundle that is normally over $1,400. It's one of our best, most powerful power stations that we have. And you are saving over $1,000 or close to $1,000. So what you're getting is this 110 watt power solar panel. This is included. Normally, these are about $300 to $400 a piece for this particular panel. We are giving you the case that you see right here to keep your solar panel protected. And we are including with this bad guy, the Powerstrip. So you can see you're giving you 2, 4, 6, 8 more places to be able to plug things in, those AC outlets. And then look at all these other little ports for your your C ports, your A ports, and for the fast charging ports to plug in your electronics simultaneously. One thing I want to share with you, aside from it's almost $1,000 off, and we are doing free shipping today. So that's a huge savings. $25 savings on that, because this isn't like a light little thing to send, but it's free shipping, so don't worry about it. But combined savings about $1,000. Now there's 2 ways you could put this, get this on its way to your front door. One payment of $110 on any major credit card. If you have one that you prefer, we do that. Everybody's welcome to it. We do Apple Pay, we do all of the credit cards. We also have an HSN card, which is also the QVC card. You can do 18 months of financing on this without one dime of interest having been spent. 1 month, it's $30 rather, and 55 cents. $30.55 to get this delivered to you. That's over the course of 1.5 years. The whole time, this is yours. The whole time, it's in either your garage, your inside of your home, somewhere, because it is gonna be the one thing that will get you through the stressful times of a storm and a power outage. Power outages are real. Sometimes they last, like I said, for minutes, sometimes they last for days, and sometimes they last for weeks. We've got lots of ways for you to be able to keep this guy always powered, and that's because of the solar panel that you're receiving. So even if you don't have power for days on end, the sun can generate the power for you and never leave you in the dark. No pun intended, Justin Hyatt. I believe this is our last and final show of the season, isn't it?
For this one, as a hot deal, absolutely. You know, we think about just the value, but it's the value given to one of the most popular power stations that we have. You know, when you think about it, it's not just a hot deal that we just picked one. We made sure, we planned this even last year. Why did we pick the Delta 2? Because of the size, because of the value, because it's still that perfect Goldilocks size. If you're looking for something that's an alternative, and when we say alternatives, what do we think about? Well, what's an alternative to gas and propane? Power stations. You know who's the #1 brand when it comes to power stations here in the United States? EcoFlow. Do you know what the most popular size is? The Delta 2. So we wanted to make sure that we picked that and curated it for you as we get into already getting ready for preparedness season. When we think about it, it doesn't seem like too long ago that we were just in October, November, December. We were thinking about all of these other different seasons and all of these different things that we were experiencing, whether it was for the hurricanes, for the storms. We're still cleaning up over here from the bay from these hurricanes. But I'm talking about alternatives, and I want to show you what we started with, right? We started with these gas and propane generators, and yes, we still have them, right? But you know what? Not for everybody, are they? When you look at that right now, I wouldn't be able to run this, would I? It'd have to be outside. I'd be 20 feet away from our home. It's not for everybody, but you know what is for everybody? This. Your EcoFlow. Your EcoFlow is for everybody. This right here, something that weighs less than 30 pounds, can still power 90% of your home appliances, that is completely portable, that I can take with me anywhere I want to go, that I can use inside, that I can use outside, that doesn't need what? Maintenance. I don't need to worry about gas. I don't need to worry about fuel. I don't need to worry about oil. I don't need to worry about having to run it outside. I get to run this inside where I am, where I'm comfortable, where I'm safe, where I'm cool, where I'm warm, where it's dry. You think about all these different hurricanes, now it's 3 feet of snow outside, or it's 3 feet of water, or 4 feet of water. Well, that's what happened to my generator. 4 feet of water in my garage. This generator's completely ruined. Prior to that, Callie, even if I wanted to, I had taken it out of storage just to get ready.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that just is a sinking feeling.
You go think, all right, it's okay. I invested in this. I'm going to
So
have
it's
the
broken
generator.
now.
Couldn't even get the pull start. You're saying, well, but Justin, this is one of those ones that has a push button. Yes, it does. It's got a push button, so I wouldn't have to do that. You know what happened? This battery right here is completely dead. So the battery for the push button wouldn't work. Then I go to use the pull crank, and the pull crank won't work. All these different things, when you look at this, it looks intimidating. Whereas when you think about this, it's completely not intimidating. This is not for everybody. Your EcoFlow is. And again, I think I love the fact that when you think about what I can use it for, we talk about emergencies, and we will for the next hour, but 99% of the time, and we show you these different graphics of what it can power, you're going to be using it for fun stuff, right? 99% of the time. It's that 1% where when that power goes out and you say, how am I going to power my life for my refrigerator? And as you're looking at this graphic, don't just look at the little icons and what it can power. Look at how long it can power it for.
Good point.
Nearly 20 hours for a full-size refrigerator. I would even venture to guess maybe even longer. A full-size microwave, high wattage appliances, right? That microwave, and we'll show you here in real time because we can do that in the studio, is nearly an 1,800 watt microwave. I have it right over here. How about the blow dryer? All the different ways that we cook our food, whether it's an air fryer, whether it's an induction burner, all of these things. Do you have it in your kitchen? Probably. If you've been shopping here with us at HSN for a few years, you absolutely can. It's super easy. It's super simple. I'll send it back to you, Kelly, but I just want to say, just one touch of a button, right? That's it. There's no learning curve. It is as simple as turning it on and turning it off. If you can press right here, that button, then you can plug your phones in, plug your tablets in, and on the very back, then you can start to plug in all the big stuff right there. 6 AC outlets. I'm not having to unplug to plug stuff in, and we'll show you in real time in just a second. Doing it all right here inside of our studio without having to be outside.
I'm so glad you mentioned how easy it is, because you literally, obviously you're not going to plug this into an outlet because it's got its own power, and a ton of power to be able to put a refrigerator back on its feet for up to, well, a day. That's huge. We always talk about the cost of food, and it's terrible now more than ever. The last thing I want to do is throw out all my the food in the freezer. So on one side, you can see all the ports, and this is, your on and off. On the other side, and you can see how easy this is to travel with, you've got all the AC ports. And then, of course, if you wanted to charge this in your car, you can do it that way. But you get, and we don't always offer the solar panels, guys. Sometimes the solar panel is just like, sorry, if you want one extra, you've got to spend $300 more to get the solar panel. This hot deal includes the solar panel. And so this is a great buy. And it's really that full story, that full circle situation that you're set. You are set to be ready for the next power outage, however and whenever it comes. I hate to think about your hurricane season again. Oh, PTSD on that thought. But what I am so excited about is that this is still here. We've sold over 2,000 of these.
Yeah.
We made this a hot deal just not that long ago. Over 2,000 are gone. We have less than 800 remaining. So if you've been putting this off, I don't want you to anymore. There is something that feels so good about knowing, like, I'm ready. I've got my backup plan. Plan B is in place.
Yeah. Without a doubt, look, we always think about all the different things that we can invest in. If you're thinking about investing in yourself, investing in your home, investing in your safety, there are the things that we depend on. We always think about food and water. What does food and water need now? I always say we don't live in, using ice chests in the kitchen anymore. We have refrigerators. They need power. How do we cook our food? That needs power. With all the different things that we have. One touch of a button, I showed you to turn it on. We never know at any given moment in time, even while we're watching TV, right? Whether you're watching us on your phone, your tablet, or you're watching on television, that power can go out, that the lightning can strike, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're feeling what? That helpless, sinking feeling
Panic.
Of when is the power gonna come back on?
Yeah.
Well, how about this? Ready? Just gonna press one more button right here on the back. I plugged everything in. My light's gonna turn on, my fan's gonna turn on, my induction burner, my microwave turned on, and my full-size refrigerator. Full-size refrigerator. So we think about the food, we think about the water. I've got my food and I've got my water. I made sure I had some pizza. The girls at the front desk.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, they don't like mushrooms. They're like, I'll take it. I'll do that for you. I'll do that for you. What about the food? What about the water, like we said? What about the medicine that you have inside of that refrigerator? At some point in time, we have to really, truly be considering how are we going to make sure that that refrigerator stays cool. I wanted to grab the pizza because I thought this would be a great opportunity to show you, you know what? I can take the pizza, I can throw it on a plate, I'm bringing it right over here to my microwave, and you know what I'm doing? As if I haven't even lost power, I'm just gonna go ahead and microwave my food. I'm gonna cook my food. You know, this is one of those moments where you're sitting there, you're saying, look, I don't know if it's gonna be 5 hours. I don't know if it's gonna be 5 days. For all of us in this area, in this studio, we've been out of power for 5 days. In fact, 2 weeks, and some of us 3 weeks at a time. So when I say at some point in time you're gonna wanna cook food, trust me, you will. But even though we're showing you in an emergency situation with this full-size microwave, and by the way, before I even continue, I want you to see that display. Can we show that display real quick, JJ? Can you see that real quick? It says nearly 1,700 watts of power. 1,700 watts of power. How could you do that right now in your home without having any power? So again, whether it's for an emergency, whether we're inside for this, or you say, you know what, how nice would it be? I'm gonna take this induction burner, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go tailgating. I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna go take this to the park. Maybe it's the air fryer. We're gonna break some wings out there. Whatever it might be, all these different scenarios. And that's one of the greatest things about this too, Callie, is that when you invest in the EcoFlow, when you invest in this type of power, this power anywhere, is that you can now go ahead and essentially take this power anywhere and enjoy it in ways that you would never be able to use for a generator, right? This is power your life, but now be able to actually take it and power your life in places that you haven't been able to, whether it's camping, whether it's glamping, whether it's at the park, whether it's gonna be, as we know, as it's starting to warm up, a lot of the parents and grandparents are saying, I'm gonna have to be on the soccer fields in no time here. I'm gonna be sitting there watching the game, which I'd love to, but it would be nice to make sure, you know what, I'm gonna bring the EcoFlow, and then I'm also gonna plug a fan in the next time I'm over there.
The fan, I mean, think about that. I mean, whether it's a hot summer day, I mean, when you lose AC, it gets hot real fast. Same thing, obviously, in the winter. I mean, so having just the essentials that you know can be up and operational. We talk a lot about CPAP machines, and for those of you who rely on that to sleep overnight, there's so many things you need power. It's not just like, well, that would be nice. It would be a convenience to have a blender at the campsite. But you know what, you can. We've done that many times. Camping, we have taken ours. I don't have this one. This is a much better system than I have. This, though, is lightweight enough to be able to take with you on the go. Maybe you bring it onto the boat for the day or for the weekend. Maybe you bring it into the RV. Maybe you bring it to the campsite. Maybe you bring it to the tailgating party, because you know what? You can power up the things. If you wanted to grill up some hot dogs, if you've got your Ninja grill. I know for us, I know what we did when we went glamping last fall. We took our e-bikes with us and we charged our batteries on the EcoFlow, and we had power every single day, and we put on, I mean, dozens and dozens of miles in a couple of days. I put on almost 300 miles on mine, actually. But with that being said, this is the last day to get this hot deal price. This is literally, do you see the price difference? It's crazy to me. I had to make triple check on it. I even called Justin, I'm like, is this real? Because this is a $1,400, normally our $1,430 bundle. You're getting it at $549.99 today. And this is our final airing of this hot deal in this moment in time. We have several hundred available, but not a lot to go around. I know a lot of people, Justin, I understand. It's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to bite the bullet. Two things I'm gonna share with you that might make you feel a little bit better about making that happen today is that you don't have to pay for the whole thing. You pay a little, yet you get it delivered to your door or to somebody else's if you're sending this off to a family member who needs it. We all need it no matter where we live in this country. It's literally $110 and it's yours. You pay that same price next month, then the third month, the fourth, and the fifth, and then it's paid off for you. There's no charge to ship, and there's no interest on those monthly installments. It gets even better with an HSN card. If you only want to spend $30 today, but have the incredible peace of mind of knowing your plan B is in place, use your HSN card. 18 months to pay this off slowly. And again, I'll say, we don't wait for the last payment. You get it the first payment you put down towards it, and then every month you just pay a little more than $30. Pay it off in full after 18 months. You have not spent or paid 1 penny in interest. Now that to me is a huge, huge enticement to be able to get something that you don't have to squeeze into your budget. You don't even notice because it's like so little, but boy, when this is sitting on a shelf or in your garage or wherever you're gonna put it, I don't know about you, but I don't know about you, Justin, but I sleep better at night. I know it's there. Well, if something happens, I got a backup plan.
Well, yeah, I've been able to live that way for the past almost 7 years now.
Yeah.
And you think about even just the past 7 years of presenting EcoFlow, even just the past year of how many times we were out of power. And you know, it's so, I say it's so funny, but the irony is that just the other day, I had a presentation. I was talking about, I don't know if any of you have ever bought any Ring cameras from here at HSN. I had the Ring doorbell that I picked up over here. And then you sign up for the Ring community and you get all these different notifications. I always get notifications that says, did you lose power? Did anybody else lose power in the area? And sure enough, I was that one person just recently, no joke, after the presentation, the power went out. I'm in the middle of a Zoom call. The Wi-Fi freezes. I'm like, what is going on? I noticed the lights aren't on. So you just never know. Yeah. But the peace of mind was, it's okay. I could literally grab my EcoFlow, plug my router in. Now I've got internet. If it was even longer than, it was roughly about 5 hours. If it was maybe 10 hours, I'm okay. I can plug the TV in. I can plug my computer in. What if my laptop was at, of course, 10%? I'm in the middle of all these different work calls. What am I going to do? Maybe it's somebody like you who's relying on a medical device, and all of a sudden you're saying, yeah, what am I going to do? You know, that's when we talk about peace of mind. And I always love this because with EcoFlow, it is the simplicity, right? We can talk about all the money that you save, but ultimately when it's the peace of mind that you know, hey, I've got something that I can use. It's not a generator where I'm going to feel like I'm going to need somebody to come here and help me use it. With your EcoFlow, you can use it and you will. Whether it's a CPAP machine, whether it's your oxygen machine, whether it's the dialysis machine, and yes, we throw all these out there, but these are things that we've read from you and your testimonials and your reviews when it comes to EcoFlow. So it's not just the independence, but it is now that feeling of reliability, especially in a brand. Like we said, it's not just a brand, Callie. It's the #1 brand, the #1 power brand here at HSN over the past 6-7 years, but also the #1 power station brand in the United States, and not just the United States. We have grown now to what was a little over 100 to now today 140 different countries. So we're quickly becoming the #1 power station and solar generator brand in the world. So I've got a CPAP machine right here. I'm just going to go ahead so you can hear this. They're not the quietest, right? But they do become quieter because then anybody who snores and has sleep apnea knows that you need to have a CPAP machine. So what do? And now in the middle of the night, you lose power and now you can't use your CPAP machine. Or you say, I'm gonna go camping, but how am I gonna be able to power up that CPAP machine? Well, right over here, we're gonna show you 21 hours, nearly 21 hours right here for your CPAP machine. And this is the other part that I love too, Callie, when I talk about simplicity is that I don't have to sit here and guess. 100%. Showing me the wattage right here, and it's going to calculate it. It's going to say, okay, well, with that much wattage and that percentage, you'll get roughly about, you can see it's kind of jumping just because that wattage will kind of jump a little bit down, up and down a little bit. But even if we just said 20 hours, 20 hours, how many nights sleeps is that? Off of just one charge. That's where then having the solar panel, well, now I can go ahead and I can use that solar panel to be able to recharge the power station. So all these different ways that I know I'm going to be able to use it, that's the peace of mind. Whether it's a mini fridge, whether it's going to be right here for your CPAP machine, I think our phones from the Today's Special are going off, which proves, by the way, that yes, they connect to your cell phone. And you can get a call from anywhere in the whole entire studio too. The other great thing is, This is one of my favorite movies right here, Con Air. Have you ever seen Con Air?
I haven't.
You've never seen Con Air?
Come
on. Anybody out there, have you seen Con Air?
Who else here has
Thank you,
seen Con Air?
JJ's no, Con Air. You gotta see Con Air.
All right, fine.
Anyway,
I'll add it to the list.
you gotta add it to the list. Okay, you can't always watch the love dramas all the time. Anyway, a blow dryer.
You might be amazed at what I like to watch, Justin.
Oh, I don't know. I know Brad Pitt movies. I'm gonna go throw that one out there. Blow dryer, high wattage appliances, but then also think about the heating blanket. You know, everybody's always thinking, how am I gonna stay warm? It's wintertime. Don't think, well, only space heater. If you want to be able to stretch your power, stay warm for longer, which is what all we talk about of all these different things, grab a heating blanket, which I know we've got tons of here at HSM, and then a portable AC unit. If you're thinking about, I think maybe even tomorrow might even be one, but anyway, portable AC units, make sure that you have one of those available, because even if you have central AC and all of a sudden you're out of power, yes, you can plug a fan in, but it'd be really nice to be able to plug a portable air conditioning in and then be able to cool yourself down, not for just a little bit, but for hours and hours on end. So all these different ways, inside, outside, and then in some of the most comfortable places in your home, in your bedroom.
Yes.
And then the other great thing too, Callie, is that this is an emergency power source. So if I had all these things plugged into the EcoFlow and the EcoFlow plugged into the wall and I lost power, let's say I'm not even home. Maybe I got the fish tank, or maybe I got the other air conditioning unit plugged in. I got the dog staying cool. This is automatically going to turn on 30 milliseconds and continue to power anything that I got plugged in. So if you are working from home or you're not even at home, this is something that you can use too.
I love that. I really never thought about that. If you're not home and the power goes out, knowing whatever's plugged into it, it will automatically kick into gear. That's really important, because when does it always, never happens when, you know, it's a convenient time. Power outages happen for all kinds of reasons too. I know in my neighborhood a couple months ago, somebody literally drove into a power, like a pole, and wiped out like dozens of people's homes for power for not days, but hours. It was hours, like a whole day. It was crazy. One thing, in fact, I have a question for you, and I encourage you guys not to miss out on this. When these sell out, and we are down to final couple hundred, I'm not even kidding, well over 2,000 gone at this hot deal price. It's a pretty irresistible opportunity to get what you know you need, and that's the River. The River is such a good, I'm sorry, I have the River. This is the Delta 2, better than the one I have. So, and I probably spent close to this price way back when we first started offering these. I think I was the first host to offer the EcoFlow. I have the River, which is great, but it doesn't have half as many ports or outlets as this does. You can literally just know that you are set. Everything is gonna be fine, whether you lose power or not. I do want to ask you a question though, Justin, because I know this system comes with a 110 watt solar panel, which very rarely do the solar panels come along with the bundle, but they do today, and that Powerstrip, which we'll talk about because it's got surge protection. We have the 400 watt solar panels available and in stock.
Yeah.
Could we add those to this if we wanted to?
So very rarely do we ever really present these 400 watt. The fact that we even have these at a discounted price that you're gonna see right there, take advantage of it. The more wattage you have, the faster you can recharge your power station, and also the more wattage you have available to use. So essentially what this is gonna be able to do, and let me open this up for you, because this is not a 110 watt solar panel. This is a very large, even with the case, very large solar panel. You can see I'm about 6'2". I'm just kidding. Just south of 6 feet, we'll just say that. Solar panel right here. This is gonna be able to power up your power station faster, but by using this to harness the power of the sun, again, now you've got more available wattage to be able to use this. So let's just say I've got 200, 300 watts of power, Callie. Well, now what I can do is I can be able to power up my lights and my fans. I can be able to power up that portable air conditioning all throughout the whole entire day without depleting the power from my power station. So yeah, if you look at the size difference.
Huge. So this is the one you're getting, 110 watt. These are normally around $300, but it's included in your bundle, even though the price on the whole bundle is like $550.
Yeah.
But these, and we don't have a lot, but we do have them in stock, which we very rarely do, and they are on sale. Not saying they're cheap, but it is nice to know you've got that much more ability to gather the energy of the sun.
Yeah, so you can have roughly a little over 400 watts total for your Delta 2, but the more you have, the better off you're gonna be. You're already getting the 110, so you can actually connect these two solar panels together, and you have 510 watts of solar.
Oh, that, you could truly be without power for days and days and days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we know has happened.
We were just out of power for 3 weeks, not that long ago.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's very, very difficult to go through.
Wasn't fun. No, but you know what? Look, again, I'm very blessed that I get to be able to present EcoFlow because in these situations,
you were ready.
Not only was I able to help myself, but I was also able.
I just dropped this. No problem.
And they're durable. Don't you know that? But I was able to go ahead and not only power up everything in my home, but I was able to also give a lot of the different power stations to my neighbors because at some point in time, do you know what's not available really quickly? I want to show you this. You know what's not always ready and available is gas. So even if you say, well, Justin, yeah, but I'll be able to have the generator, and I'll be able to, it's always the guys who are like, Justin, you don't understand. I got my generator. You know what ended up happening, even with my neighbor?
What?
You run out of gas.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's no gas around. And then in the middle of the night, what is he going to have to use? He's going to have to try to use his gas generator, and trying to sleep while you're running your generator is absolutely miserable.
They're so loud.
What he was able to do was, I gave him a couple of the power stations. He used his generator, powered them up, saved the gas, and then just used those power stations, our EcoFlow, to power up everything else in his house. He had a little AC unit, and he had his refrigerator, and then you prioritize. So those are the two things that I really think are the most important. Well, my lights, my refrigerator, and keep myself cool and keep the everybody else in the house cool.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well, all I know is that this is quite a bundle, quite a day. I'm maybe the final host who has the chance to offer this it's a hot deal in terms of pricing on such an important thing. You know, we buy a lot of things that are fun and great. It's like, I like having new clothes too, and jewelry and all that stuff. We need food, we need water, and we need to have power. This is something that every home, I mean, I hope you're ready. I hope you already have your EcoFlow ready. But a lot of you, if you've been putting it off, and I get it, I mean, it's not that much fun to spend money on things that maybe, and hopefully you won't even use it, but you will. I mean, yeah. I will say this, you will use it for fun and for play, and certainly in the event of an emergency. And this is the best seller. This is the Delta 2. This is the one that is not overly heavy, but it gives you a ton of power, and it's just that much more portable to bring along with you if you go for the weekend.
Well, I know, again, what you were just saying, well, it might not be the most fun, but you know what? I'm going to tell you, it's amazing how many times my dad is texting me pictures of all the fun stuff that he's doing with his EcoFlow.
I love that.
He's using it outside in the backyard. He's going to be able to go ahead and use this to, go ahead and he's using he's got his little table saw he used outside. Then he'll take a picture of it he's got in his garage, and he's got a TV set up. Or he's go ahead and he's tailgating. He's sending pictures of me while I was tailgating. Then he's got the grill set up, an electric flat top grill. So all these different things. You say, well, that's only an emergency. No, this generator's only for an emergency, and EcoFlow is not. We say it's not a break glass in case of an emergency investment because you know what? You're going to get this, and it's going to be there for you for the bad times. But you know what? It's also going to be there for you for the good times too. So that's what we love about our EcoFlows.
Let the good times roll. I can't tell you how much fun we've had with our blender, margaritas, and all our friends charging their cell phones on our EcoFlow.
Margaritas, that's all you really need it for.
Well, you never know what you're going to need it for, but I just really am happy and proud of you for getting it today. I mean, getting it any day, but what a day to do it. We'll give you much more information, but I also, before we take a tiny little break here, I wanted to let you know about something going on our website, because I don't want you to miss the Best in Beauty. This is something we do every single week on hsn.com. Best in Beauty Week is something that gives you the chance to get some of the best prices, free shipping on a lot of our beauty brands, big savings, new deals every single day. So check it out on hsn.com for more beauty deals. It's happening now through the end of the month, March 31st. So if you need to call somebody to discuss making this purchase together, give them a call. We'll tell you more about it when we come back from this tiny little break.
Improvements is a leading innovator of unique, high-quality decor, space-saving storage ideas for every room, and essential kitchen must-haves. With the latest color and style trends, our items are designed to solve every home and garden need, so you can create the space you've always wanted. Dream big, make it amazing, because there's always room for improvements. Improvements on HSN.
HSN Plus has more live channels.
Welcome, my friends.
More ways to shop. More of this.
I'm here to collect my $25 gift card.
HSN Plus has more of what you love, all in one place.
This is amazing.
All for free.
You're the best.
Watch and shop what's happening now, or catch up on what you might have missed.
Let's have some fun. Come on in.
Okay, you're bringing in the bass.
See what all the plus is about. Watch free everywhere you stream.
Tower Hill by Christy Brinkley is all about looking good and feeling good. These are the clothes I love to wear, and you will too.
Watch Tower Hill by Christy Brinkley.
Only on HSN.
Well, a lot of your food is going to be a lot tastier when it's warm after a power outage and you need to, heat something up from the fridge or from the freezer into your microwaves because you've got the power of the EcoFlow. When I started thinking about how much, in fact, just today before I left for work, Justin, I went through, I'm like, babe, what should we have for dinner tonight? And I thought, I wonder how much money I've got in my freezer of food, like, steaks and burgers and salmon fillets and all the things. If you lose power in a refrigerator, especially, let's face it, if you're out of town and you don't even realize you lost power, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of food has just gone to waste. That's a lot of money. And I mean, that's just one example of the things that you feel good about in terms of owning your own EcoFlow. We're here talking about our last opportunity for this hot deal price, one of the best prices and savings I've ever seen us do. It's literally, if you want to just back up to the beginning with me, bear with me. This is a crazy deal. This is a $1,430 value bundle, because it is a full bundle. That Powerstrip with surge protection is included, multiple ports there that you can plug into your EcoFlow. The solar panel, 110-watt solar panel is included with the River 2. You get the case to protect your solar panels. When you think about, some of our solar panels that we sell separately, in fact, even the one that we've got a few in stock, it's a 400-watt, it's a $750 purchase. When you think about you're getting a 110-watt solar panel that goes right with this EcoFlow and the Powerstrip for $200 less than just a solar panel. This bundle really all of a sudden just becomes like, what? It's such a good value. And it is, again, not the wimpiest of EcoFlows that we offer at such a great price. This is the River 2. So when we talk about that, 90% of the appliances that you use right now in your home and in your life, you can power on the EcoFlow and multiple things at the same time, right?
Yeah, we've got all the different outlets. We've got all the different ports, from the USB-A's to the USB-C's to all of the AC outlets as well. And you know what? When we show you this graphic, we say power your life. Again, when you think about prioritizing, what do you want to be powered up? Whether it's your medical devices, whether it's that CPAP. Of course, we think about that refrigerator, and you were just talking about all the food that you have in your refrigerator. We always say, well, if all of the food in your refrigerator goes bad, well, you might lose what, $200, $300, $400, $500, right? If we even think about all the food that we have for those emergencies, or just for those any times. Maybe it's those frozen steaks and fillets for when we want to have people over. But it's not just the $400 or $500. You got to replace all of that, right? So now it's another $400 or $500. Right. So now you're looking at $1,000 of food that you're essentially going to have to use to replace that with. Now, think about all the different ways that you're going to use this, like we said, and that's one of the things when we say stretch your dollars, stretch your value. With our EcoFlow, we have different options, and it's one of the things that we love. We give you alternatives, we give you options, and we give you options in sizes. We have our levels, which we call River, which is kind of our full portable line. Then we go to our Delta line. So River kind of goes and powers 80%. The next goes to our Delta, powers 90% of your home appliances. One of the craziest thing that makes this like a really great hot deal is that, Callie, you had just mentioned it, some of the Rivers are roughly close to this Delta 2 price. And so now we have something that can power 10% more, which means now we can go ahead and we can cook our food with our microwaves, with our air fryers, with our induction burners, with something that stays right here inside of our home. Something that I can literally just go ahead and press one touch of a button and that's it. So when we think about even getting prepared, the nice thing is that this doesn't really essentially need any preparation, does it? Because once you have it at home, you've got it charged up. All you need to do now is turn it on and plug stuff in, which is what I'm going to do right now. I want you to follow with me because this is one of the exciting things. Because at any given moment in time, which we did earlier in this presentation, if you've been watching since the beginning, you never know. It's always the ifs, it's the whens. We don't know when the power is going to go out. We know it's going to at some point in time. And then this is where I always ask you, what is your plan? What's your plan for when that happens? when this happens, when you're sitting there and then all of a sudden that just pit in your stomach and you're not feeling prepared and you're saying, why didn't I make some type of plan and decision? So when we say getting prepared, again, when this doesn't need any preparation, now this is at 100% and this being our Delta 2, all I need to do now is press that little AC button on the very back, and now I've got my lights, I've got my fans, I've got my microwave, and I've got my full-size refrigerator. How nice is that? Again, we said earlier, it's the peace of mind, but it's that extra added value of eliminating what? The anxiety, not having to sit and worry, and not having to be dependent on anybody else except for you. And in many of these different situations, you need to be self-sufficient. Now, for a lot of you, you can. Light, fan, microwave. I want to show you right here again on that display, showing you exactly how long you can run all of those different things for. And then really quickly walk with me, because I want to walk right over here to the refrigerator. We were just talking about all the different things. Bobby always talks about the wine that she's got. She always had this wine cooler, and I grew up in a family where we actually had our own wine brand, and I understand wine can be very expensive. If you've ever bought a bunch of wine, all the different things we think about, yes, food, water, maybe wine for you in a wine cooler. Maybe it's the medicine that's going to be in here. My sister has type 2 diabetes. She needs to make sure that her insulin stays cool. But now we've got power. I had that little pizza. And this actually really resembles my refrigerator at home. Pizza and water. That's really, pizza, carbs, dairy, and protein. It's pretty much every single thing that you need.
That's funny.
I've got a slice of pizza in the microwave really quickly here. I want to just show you this real quick. Nice to know that whether it's a baby's bottle, whether it's food, whether it's those chicken nuggets for the kids, whether it's some of those frozen meals that you might already have, you can just go throw it right here into that microwave, hit start, and then it's going to run.
Question for you while you're
ahead.
on the microwave. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
but
go ahead.
If the only appliances that you plugged in was the microwave, how many hours use would you get out of it?
Non-stop for a microwave. This is one of the largest microwaves that you're going to see on the market. This one does roughly about 35 minutes. For some of those smaller microwaves, you're going to get closer to an hour. But think about that. That's an hour of non-stop using a microwave. Nobody ever does that.
No,
right?
no, you use it like for 2 minutes at a time.
Even with an air fryer, because I love my air fryer.
I do too.
This is one of the greatest purchases I've ever
Couldn't
made
agree
in my
more.
life. Actually, it was a gift. Thank you, Grandma. Is that, you know what? You use it for what? All of maybe at most 10, 12, 13 minutes if you're cooking any chicken, if you're cooking your salmon, so that's 10, 12 minutes. But again, those are the things that you can say, well, do I want to use the power for that? You get to choose, you get to prioritize. Maybe it's just, I want to kind of cook a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The other really efficient way of doing it too is these induction burners. This is one of those Curtis Stone induction burners. I was joking, I said, Curtis, I need to get some kickbacks here. I mention you all the time. No, but this induction burner is really great because you can set it to different settings, and I can go ahead and throw a pan on here. I can start to cook breakfast, whether it's eggs and bacon, whatever you want to cook, whether it's for breakfast, lunch, and or dinner. And this is actually one of kind of more efficient ways instead of being very high wattage, because I can get this, actually I've got it on right now, so instead of me talking about it, I'm just gonna actually show you. I'm gonna go ahead and set it even just to the kind of one of the low settings, and you'll see